dictated them to me. These are not my rules, so don't get mad at me if you don't like them. Anyways, that you have 2 minutes to answer the question. Is that loud enough for everybody? Can you hear me? And they need to know that you, of course, pass the microphone between you, and you'll have to speak loud into it as well. Okay, so our first question is for Henry Ross. Okay, so you want me to allow them, so you can explain this to me. Yeah, see, you got to tell me the rules up front, you know, here. Anyways, Bill wants me to allow y'all to give how many minutes for introduction? 2.5 minutes for your own personal introduction of your credentials and such, okay? So, starting with you, Henry, please stand up, and unless you want to sit down. Everybody can stay seated, you can stand either way.
Well, thank you, Mike. It's good being here. I want to thank the officials at DeSoto Central High School for letting us have this debate here. I want to thank these guys in the red, white, and blue shirts and girls for all their participation and their interest in our country and all the time that they put in to promote conservative values in the Tea Party. Thank y'all. And most of all, I want to thank all the people that are here tonight. You represent millions of Americans who are concerned about our nation, and the fact that you're here shows your concern, and it really excites me to see you. And I want to thank the candidates here and their participation in the debate as well. America is a blessed country. From time to time in history, there are certain junctions of history and opportunity and destiny. I think 1776 was one of those times, and I think 2010 is one of those times as well. Our founders got together. These people were political revolutionaries. They were radicals in their own right, and they were willing to say that we were granted our rights not by the king, not by our fellow men, but by God Himself. God Almighty has given us rights as men, and we're proclaiming those rights and proclaiming ourselves as a free nation. And our founders knew that when they did that, they were willing and they were going to sacrifice their own lives if we lost the war, the Revolutionary War. But they did it anyway. We need this kind of sacrifice today in the United States. These men set this country on pillars of faith, family, and freedom. These pillars have served us well for 233 years in this country. But these pillars are cracking today in our country, and if these pillars may fall if we're not vigilant. We need to make sure in the United States Congress, whoever we send from the 1st District, that our congressman does his part to ensure that these pillars remain standing in this country. Government has told us that there's a wall of separation between church and state. Government has told us that the family is not important, that fathers don't have to be in the homes anymore. We can do it another way. Government has taken freedoms away from us. We're one vote away in the Supreme Court from losing the right to bear arms. We've got a $12.5 trillion debt that's going to explode to $25 trillion in less than 10 years. It's going to be a lot worse than that under Obamacare. We're importing oil from overseas when we need to have our own oil explored and drilled for in the United States. We're bringing terrorists in this country and trying them as common criminals when they need to be left overseas and treated just like they are, as terrorists. They need to be tried over there, and they need to be convicted by the military.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And next is Les Green.
Thank you very much. Thank y'all for coming. I appreciate your willingness to engage in this process. Can y'all hear me okay? Good. My name is Les Green. I'm from Hernando, just down the road, down Getwell Road here. I teach math at South Haven High School, and I wanted to let you know why I'm running as an independent. And the reason I'm running an independent is 12 trillion, 880 billion, 593 million, 147,378 reasons. That's our national debt as of last night. It was clicking around so fast I had to do a calculation to go ahead and get it because I couldn't keep up with it. $7 trillion since 2000. I may be a simple math teacher, but I can do the math. And both parties have been empowered during this time, and it has gone back and forth, and they continue to spend and promise solutions. And that solution never comes. They bicker, and our nation stumbles. They have robbed our children and our grandchildren of their inheritance. They have decided that power is more important than what's best for America. I'm asking you to elect an independent voice, someone who is promising to make the tough decisions, someone who is promising not to be a career politician. From the beginning, I have vowed to the citizens of the 1st District that if I'm elected, I will only serve 3 terms, 6 years, long enough to make a difference, short enough to keep me focused on bringing truth, integrity, and sacrifice to Washington, D.C. I'm asking you to join with me in demanding a balanced budget. I'm asking you to demand it now. A challenge that I promise that I will not back down from. It's going to be a painful step, but it's a step that we must take. And I believe that Americans are willing and ready to sacrifice for the good of our children and grandchildren, to promise them a hope and a future so they can live out the dreams that God has given them in a prosperous nation.
Thank you, Les Green. Next is Angela McLowan.
First, giving honor to God that brought us all here today and gave us another opportunity to create a better America. I want to thank each and every one of you for coming, but especially the candidates for taking the time out. Because only through true debate and transparency can these good folks find out where you truly stand. So thank you for taking the time to come out and do this tonight. Public service is a sacrifice. It's not a career. But unfortunately, we have incumbent career politicians that have run amok in Jackson, Mississippi, and that have run amok in Washington, D.C. I don't blame Obama altogether. I don't blame Nancy Pelosi and Harry Reid. We all need to take responsibility. Our terms are limited as elected officials when individuals like you go to the ballot box and vote your conscience. But the only way that you can is actually having candidates actually come forth and do true debate as we have done tonight. Why am I running? For the last 12 years, I've been on Fox News promoting aggressively conservative values, taking on the liberal establishment. I'm a best-selling author with the book Bamboozle, How Americans Are Being Exploited by the Lies of the Liberal Agenda. But now we have an agenda in Washington, D.C. that's actually exploiting us. And I'm so glad to see Tea Party folks actually taking a stand and making a difference. Working in Washington, D.C. on the Ways and Means Committee, working as a political strategist, and working on Fox News, I will not go to Washington, D.C. like a deer in the headlights. I will go there and represent you and make true change happen. Number one, we need another contract with America. We need to balance the budget for a second time in a generation. There are a lot of things that I want to do, folks, and I'm the person that can get the job done. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. McLowan. And last, Wally Payne.
Hello, America. Patriots, thank you for coming. My name is Wally Payne, and I'm the independent candidate of this race. The reason I say that, well, my fellow's independent too, but the reason I say I'm the independent candidate, because I take no bull from no one. I'm like this dog out there. I bite, and I can sting like the bee. As your independent candidate, you're the boss. And I don't want you to forget it. You haven't been given this chance before. Have you heard any of our representatives say, you're the boss and we want to represent you? No, you haven't. Well, I'm stepping up forward and I want you to remember that you're the boss. If I'm a Democrat, it'll be Nancy Pelosi. And wouldn't that be a nightmare? The Republican Party, it's the same thing. As an independent candidate, I have no chain of command to go through. I can bring the subject right up from the bottom, all the way up to the top. No one can stop me. But y'all, but of course, all the party leaders want to stop me. They heard about me. I'm coming after them. All I can do, I bring out names, I can go to the media. If I was a party candidate, they stop me at the first floor. Now, most of y'all are Republicans, you're conservatives. Y'all would need me as an independent congressman because I'm free to attack any Republicans. I will attack to the media or I attack on the floor. I said any Republicans who become liberal Democrats, I will point them out. We have two that I like to point out.